Hello and welcome. In this short vlog, I would like to introduce you to some research I'm doing as part of a Cultural Heritage Studies university class. Join me on a short journey into the local laboratory. One Sunday morning Katie went a walking doing the time. She catched an idea for research she thought would work out fine. But then some virus come along and ruined all the plans. So here's what I've got so far, and I hope it's not pure shan. Wish lads had your gobs and I'll tell yous all a canny story. Wish lads had your gobs and I'll tell yous about me research proposal. I hope you're interested. So, here's my question. What is the function of expression of cultural memories in works by folk musicians? Come again? Let's break it down. Cultural memory refers to the idea that as a culture we have a shared remembrance, a collective narrative that all members of this community believe and understand. For example, Geordies might have just understood the song that I just performed as a parody of the Lambton Worm, a very popular folk song here in the northeast of England. It tells about a man who finds a worm, he fishes out a worm. Note that worm used to be the word for dragon. So he fishes out this dragon, doesn't know what to do with it, throws it in a well. He goes on a crusade. Then when he comes back, he finds out that this worm's been eating the bairns and the livestock. So it's just your average day in Sunderland, really. I believe folk musicians play on this shared cultural memory to create a sense of community and a bond with the listeners. Those who understand the language, the themes behind the lyrics, and the humour learn to appreciate the music to a far more personal level. The culture we're surrounded with in our upbringing becomes a large part of what makes us special. It's our identity. So to rephrase my question, I want to find out how folk musicians present their heritage. And from this question we get many offshoots. What is it that they're presenting? How do we discern what our heritage is? Is the choice to present it conscious or unconscious? How do they demonstrate the facets of our community? Why is it that we want to preserve or even sometimes parody our own heritage? And when performing to an audience not from the same social locations, do these musicians self-other to try and make their music seem more appealing, quirky, or unique? So now that we've understood that base question, here's where I'll specify and make my research unique. So, for some background information, I was born in Newcastle and raised speaking the Geordie dialect. Having spent some time living in the northern Netherlands in the province of Frisian, I have come to realise some similarities between our culture and theirs. Geographically, compared to the rest of each country, we're both in the north. So, we're away from the main powerhouses of the country. However, we have our own special industries up here. In the case of Frisia, that's farming. And in the case of the northeast, that would have been shipbuilding and mining, which unfortunately don't occur anymore. However, that doesn't stop it from being a very prominent theme in folk music. In fact, a lot of the time, folk music might lament over the loss of these industries for the northeast. In Frisian and Northumbria, we also have our very own ways of speaking, which are unique to us compared to the rest of the country. In the case of Geordie, this is a dialect of standard English, and in the case of Frisia, it's its very own language, Frisian, which is very different to Dutch.
Let's think about it like a spectrum. Auf einer Seite haben wir die deutsche Sprache, and on the other, English. Progressively, English has developed into the monstrosity language we have today, grâce à une influence nomade français. In het midden van dit alles hebben we het Nederlands. In de midden hebben we dat Plaatdeutsch in de grens. En aan de andere zijde hebben we het Fries, dat in al de Engeland verstaanbaar Westen wie. Omdat Afrikaans een uitvloeisel is van de oude Nederlands taal, is dat bij zo is de moderne Friese taal. Of afzijdige with Frisi of Geordie, if afvalf, halfaberthi noren arif. Still evident today with words like hem, hiem, ben, baan, ut, ut, etc.
Getting back to the point, the similarities in both cultures mean they're very much comparable. And by using musicians from both sides as examples, I would like to also uncover whether some kind of universal understanding for how folk musicians perform their heritage exists. I hope to have at least piqued your interest in this topic, and I hope you learned something new and found it interesting. Next time you watch some folk musicians perform, think about it. Are they performing their heritage? Do they sing in the language they grew up with? And think about how it makes you feel when they perform this certain way, especially if you're from the same area that they're from. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing. And if you've got anything to add about folk musicians or any kind of experiences you've had watching folk performances before, then please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you later.